I was heading to the coffee machine when I heard Zhao Chen's voice, low but sharp, carrying secrets that weren't meant for me. He has no idea what's coming. This system thing. Perfect leverage. His arrogance will ruin him, Zhao Chen muttered to someone on the phone. I froze mid-step. Wait, what? The system buzzed in my head. Betrayal detected. Opportunity available. I stepped closer, pretending to sip coffee, straining to catch every word. Yes, tomorrow's meeting. I've planted the report errors already. He'll look incompetent. Lin Sha will see him as weak. I felt my chest tighten. He's plotting against me. Yes, but strategic patience will benefit you more than immediate confrontation, the system whispered. I gritted my teeth. So much for friendly colleague. When Zhao Chen hung up, he smirked at a passing coworker, completely unaware I'd overheard everything. Later, my office corner, Mingyu noticed my tension. You're pale. Something happened? I shook my head, trying to sound casual. Just thinking. Work stuff. She tilted her head. You sure? You look like someone stole your soul. I managed a small smile. Nothing like that, really. System nudged. He believes he's safe. He underestimates you. Perfect. I let out a short laugh. Yeah, perfect. For revenge? The next morning, the conference room was buzzing. Zhao Chen swaggered in, looking smug. I hope everyone's ready for a brilliant presentation, he said, eyes flicking toward me. I returned a blank stare. Wouldn't miss it. Lin Sha's sharp gaze scanned the room, then fixed on me briefly. My pulse spiked. She notices unusual behavior. Advantage gained. As Zhao Chen began, I noticed the planted errors in his report, obvious only if someone read carefully. I raised my hand. Zhao Chen, can you clarify the Q3 figures? They don't seem to align with historical trends. The room went quiet. He laughed nervously. That's just a minor variance, I pressed. Minor. The discrepancy is consistent across 3 segments. Perhaps an oversight? Lin Sha leaned forward, eyes narrowing slightly. Explain. Zhao Chen faltered, stammering through explanations. My smirk was tiny but victorious. The system buzzed. Control of narrative shifting. He underestimates your observation. After the meeting, Mingyu whispered, that was incredible. You exposed him without looking malicious. I nodded, tension still simmering. I had to. He was playing dirty and someone had to catch it. Later at my desk, the system whispered, consider further moves. Leverage him subtly. Public humiliation is unnecessary, yet powerful. I typed a polite email to Lin Shea, highlighting a few overlooked market trends in my report. My hands trembled slightly. She responded in her usual concise tone. Well analyzed. I'll review these points in tomorrow's discussion. The tiny acknowledgement felt like a spark. She's noticing your brilliance, the system hummed. I leaned back. Not bad. Not bad at all, Zhao Chen approached, feigning casualness. Hey, I noticed you questioned my report today. Bold move. I met his gaze, calm but sharp. Observation is part of my job. Accuracy matters more than ego, he scowled. Just be careful. Some risks backfire.
Thanks for the warning,
I said, voice neutral. I'll keep it in mind. After he walked away, the system buzzed louder. Patience now. His frustration will become your tool. Observe, plan, act. I exhaled a mix of adrenaline and satisfaction. Betrayal had stung, but it had also opened a door. I realized the system wasn't just a nuisance, it was a guide. It's a tool to sharpen my mind against deceit. As Lin Sha walked past my cubicle later, she paused, eyes flicking toward me. No words, just a look. But it carried approval, recognition, and something else, curiosity. I swallowed, heart racing. Interesting. She's watching, and I'm just getting started. How the office hummed around me, petty schemes, whispers, and ambitions. And for the first time, I felt powerful, despite the betrayal. I smirked quietly to myself. Zhao Chen thinks he's the predator. Funny, he has no idea who's hunting, stared at my screen, fingers hovering over the keyboard, while the system hummed like it was amused. Decision point approaching. Confront or manipulate? I groaned. Yeah, easy choice system. Confronting Zhao Chen is suicide. Manipulate silently. That sounds tricky. Trickier, yes, but more satisfying. I glanced up and noticed Mr. Han watching me from across the room. His gaze was calm, piercing. I hesitated, then called over. Mr. Han, can I get your opinion on something? He shuffled over, leaning on his cane. Depends. Is it about work or life? Both, I said dryly. Zhao Chen's plotting behind my back. I need a strategy without exposing myself. He nodded slowly. Observe more than you act. Subtlety always wins. People are predictable if you read patterns, not intentions. I raised an eyebrow. Patterns, not intentions. Watch his actions. Influence them without revealing your hand. Then the outcome is yours, not luck. I smirked. Sounds like chess. He's the pawn, I'm the above. What? The queen? He chuckled. You'll see. Just remember, patience matters more than impulse. Later, by the coffee machine, Mingyu leaned toward me. You seem different lately. More confident? I shrugged. Maybe, or maybe I'm just learning to play the game smarter. She frowned. I hope you're careful. Zhao Chen doesn't play fair. I smirked. No. That's why I'm staying 3 steps ahead. The system buzzed softly. Prepare to apply subtle influence. Opportunity in his next error, I muttered under my breath. Subtle influence. Easier said than done. The next team project was critical a high-profile presentation. Zhao Chen strutted in, already planning to take full credit. I knew exactly how he'd try to manipulate the numbers. Your part's almost ready, right? He asked me casually, but the smirk betrayed his intent. Almost, I said, keeping my tone light. Want me to double-check the final figures? He waved it off. Nah, you don't have to. I've got it under control. Under control? Watch this, the system whispered. During the presentation, I made a few subtle corrections in the slides, barely noticeable. When Zhao Chen presented, Lin Sha's eyes flicked toward me. It's just long enough to register my changes. Interesting, she muttered quietly, almost to herself. I grinned silently. Noticeable enough. Afterward in her office, Lin Shia beckoned me in. You made adjustments to the slides. I nodded. Small improvements. I thought they might clarify trends. She leaned back, gaze sharp. Your initiative is impressive. Most would follow blindly. You think independently. I felt my chest tighten. Praise from her was rare and heavy. Thank you. I just wanted to ensure accuracy. Accuracy is admirable. Keep this up, she said. I left her office feeling like I was floating. The system buzzed with satisfaction. Your influence is growing. His first major failure imminent. Sure enough, later, Zhao Chun's numbers fell apart in the follow-up review. Panic replaced his smugness. I don't understand. I triple-checked everything. I leaned back in my chair, pretending to type casually. Sometimes details escape the best of us. Happens to everyone. His face twisted with frustration. This shouldn't be happening. Not now. Mingyu peeked over her cubicle. Looks like someone's luck ran out. I whispered under my breath. Not luck. Strategy. The system hummed approvingly. Patience. Observation. Manipulation power is yours when applied correctly. I felt a new sense of control, a thrill that was addictive. Zhao Chen was reeling. Lin Sha was noticing me. The office politics suddenly seemed like a game I could actually win. I glanced at Mr. Han's office, remembering his words. Patterns, not intentions. I smirked. Yeah, I think I finally get it. The day ended with Zhao Chen storming out, frustrated and defeated, while I stayed calm, sipping my coffee. The system pulsed in my mind. Turning point achieved. Your path is yours. I leaned back, watching the office hum around me. Betrayal had forced me to choose, and for the first time, I felt fully ready. I was staring at the flickering fluorescent light above my cubicle when it happened. A voice, sharp and mechanical, echoed inside my head. "Good morning, player. You have been selected." I froze, gripping my coffee mug. What the? Who's there? Do not panic. I am your system. My purpose, to make you powerful.
I laughed bitterly.
Powerful? I can barely survive accounting reports without messing up. And now you're talking to me like I'm some video game character? Resistance is expected. Your first task is simple. Simp for Lin Sha. I choked on my coffee. Excuse me? Simp. 4. The CEO? Are you insane? Instructions are clear. Obey and rewards follow. Refuse and consequences. Interesting, I slammed my mug down. No way. I don't care what system nonsense this is. I'm not groveling in front of her. Pause. Then, almost teasing, the voice whispered, "Interesting. Defiance detected. Unconventional path unlocked." My head spun. Was I losing it? I pinched myself. Nope. Still painfully real. I glanced across the office. Lin Sha was in her glass-walled office, sitting like a queen on a throne, reviewing documents with that laser focus everyone whispered about. My stomach twisted. Her presence alone could intimidate armies. "Don't look at her like that," the system said. "Admiration is optional. Engagement is mandatory." I muttered under my breath. Engagement. Like I'd actually crawl to her. The system didn't answer, just pulsed in my mind, a low hum of expectation. I decided to test it. "Okay, smarty AI, if I ignore you, what happens?" "You will discover alternative rewards. Perhaps something far greater than obedience." I blinked. That sounded almost tempting, almost my computer pinged. An email from Lin Shia herself. My heart lurched. I opened it. "Prepare the monthly report. I'll review it in my office at 3 p.m. Normal. Just work." My pulse slowed. Maybe the system was exaggerating. Or maybe I was already in its trap. "Your first challenge," it said softly, "is to decide your stance." I leaned back, crossing my arms. "Fine. I'll play my way. But I'm not simping for anyone. Bold choice. Outcome may surprise you." I laughed nervously. Bold or stupid? Probably both. The rest of the morning crawled by. I tried to focus on spreadsheets, but my thoughts kept drifting to Lin Jia. Every move she made, every subtle glance she gave her team, the way she commanded respect effortlessly. I'd never admired anyone before, and I sure as hell wasn't about to start now. "Curiosity noted," the system said. "Curiosity can be a weapon." I shook my head. Weapon for what exactly? Observation? Manipulation? Influence? I swallowed hard. Influence. Yeah, right. Me, influencing anyone here? You've got jokes. By 3 p.m., I found myself standing outside her office. My hands were clammy, heart thundering like I'd run a marathon. I knocked. "Come in." Her voice sliced through the air like ice. I stepped in, trying not to look like a deer in headlights. She didn't smile, didn't scold, just regarded me like a chess piece she was considering. "Report," she said. I handed it over, words failing me. She scanned it quickly, eyebrows raising in subtle approval. "Good, your analysis is precise," she said. Her tone didn't drip with flattery, but it mattered more. I felt a spark of something. Pride? Satisfaction? Maybe both. And that's when I realized the system wasn't controlling me. "Not yet," I smirked in my head. "You want me to simp?" "Sorry, system. I'll take my own path." Pause. Then the voice whispered, "Interesting. Rebellion noted. Potential unlocked." I leaned against the wall, heart racing, mind buzzing. This could be the start of something dangerous. Something mine, and I was ready the next morning. I walked into the office like nothing had changed, but I could feel the weight of the system in my head, humming, waiting. "Hey, new guy, you look Different today, Xiao Chen said as I passed his desk, smirking. I froze mid-step. Different how? I asked, keeping my tone casual. Oh, more confident? Braver than usual, he said, leaning back with a grin that didn't reach his eyes. I shrugged. Maybe I just woke up on the right side of misery. The system chuckled inside my mind. Attention detected. Linsha is observing. Advantageous. I blinked. Wait, what? You'll see soon, it whispered. By the time the morning meeting rolled around, I was already tense. Linsha entered the conference room, heels clicking sharply. She scanned the room and my chest tightened. She stopped just for a second, at my corner. That look. It wasn't anger. Not exactly. Curiosity. Let's start with updates, she said. Xiao Chen jumped in, speaking fast. I've completed the regional projections. The numbers are fine, Linsha interrupted smoothly. Then she looked at me. What about your section? I swallowed. I double-checked last month's report. Forecasts are adjusted for seasonal fluctuation. Her eyes narrowed. Explain your assumptions. I glanced at Xiao Chen. He was smirking, waiting for me to slip. I used historical data, trend variance, and cross-checked with last quarter's anomalies. That's why projections differ slightly from standard. Silence. Lin Shia leaned back, assessing me like a hawk. Interesting. I didn't expect this level of detail. The room shifted. Murmurs rippled. Xiao Chen's smirk faltered. Later, Mingyu slid a cup of coffee toward me. You handled that like a pro. I didn't think she'd notice you, I grinned. Neither did I. Or maybe the system did. Mingyu tilted her head. System? What are you talking about? Nothing, I said quickly, hoping she didn't pry. Throughout the day, subtle things kept happening. Xiao Chen left papers mysteriously misplaced on my desk. Mingyu whispered warnings about office politics. I realized refusing the system's first order hadn't gone unnoticed both by Linsha and my colleagues. Curious. The system murmured, Your rebellion draws attention. Some may admire, others envy. Yeah, tell me something I don't know, I muttered under my breath. That afternoon, Xiao Chen cornered me near the printer. I saw your little act in the meeting. Smart move. But careful. Attention can be dangerous. I raised an eyebrow. Thanks for the warning, but I think I can handle attention better than you think. He laughed, cold and sharp. We'll see. When he walked away, Mingyu peeked out from her cubicle. Don't let him get to you. He's full of threats, but he can't really do much. I nodded. I know, but it's kind of fun, isn't it? Navigating this. Tension. Mingyu blinked. Fun? Seriously? I smirked. It's like chess, except every pawn is also trying to stab you in the back. By late afternoon, Linsha passed my desk. She didn't say a word, but that glance. The system noted it immediately. Recognition. Advantage potential unlocked. I whispered under my breath. Unbelievable. She's actually noticing me. For real, noticing you, yes. Opportunity, yes. You must decide how to act, the system advised. I leaned back, feeling the thrill and fear swirl together. This was new territory. Every choice mattered. Every word, every gesture. I had refused, and the universe, or at least the system, had taken note. I chuckled quietly. Looks like I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm moving pieces. The office hummed around me, ordinary and dangerous at the same time. I realized the system wasn't forcing me, it was giving me tools. And maybe, just maybe, I was starting to play the game better than anyone expected. And I was just getting started. The office was buzzing louder than usual, but I felt calm, almost detached. The system hummed in my mind. Karma is aligning. Shall we expedite? I frowned. Not yet. Let it unfold naturally. Measured exposure delays gratification. Exactly. I didn't need to rush. Xiao Chen had been careless, arrogant. The errors I'd subtly highlighted yesterday were spreading like cracks in a glass wall. Have you seen this? Mingyu whispered, leaning over my desk. Her eyes were wide, almost alarmed. Xiao Chen. He made another mistake. Big one. Smiled, careful not to gloat. I noticed. Don't tell anyone I said anything. She shook her head. I won't, but you're amazing. How do you stay so calm? Observation, I replied, and patience. The system buzzed. Observe reactions, influence subtly. I glanced at Xiao Chen across the room. He was muttering under his breath, red-faced, glaring at spreadsheets. The more he panicked, the more he revealed his incompetence. I leaned back, pretending to review my own work. Mingyu peeked from her cubicle again. You're not going to say anything? I shook my head. No, Karma's a better teacher than me, she frowned. Are you sure? You could help. I smiled faintly. Sometimes watching consequences play out is the smarter move. Later in the meeting room, Xiao Chen stumbled through his presentation. Numbers didn't add up. Slides contradicted one another. Even the most oblivious coworkers noticed. I don't know why these discrepancies are here, he stebbed. Lin Shar's gaze swept the room, then lingered on me. Her eyes held a subtle approval, curiosity mixed with something like respect. Noticeable impact detected, the system buzzed. Potential for influence increasing. I whispered under my breath. Influence. Sure. But this isn't about me. It's about letting him face himself. You leaned in during a break. You're incredible. Most people would have just humiliated him. I'm not most people, I said. Patience pays better than aggression. She smiled, quietly. I think I understand. You're not just playing the game, you're guiding it. I felt warmth in her words, a rare human touch amidst corporate chaos. Thanks, Mingyu. That means a lot. The system hummed, teasing. Emotional connection detected. Risk of distraction. I chuckled softly. I know, but I need her. Not just strategically. By afternoon, Xiao Chen's mistakes had compounded. Colleagues whispered behind him, and I noticed some were even glancing at me, subtly questioning competence lines. Look at him, Ming, you whispered quietly. It's almost satisfying, shook my head. Don't take pleasure in it. He's learning a lesson the hard way, lesson observed. Satisfaction measured. Later, Mr. Han appeared near my desk, his cane tapping lightly. I see you're letting natural consequences teach him. Wise choice. Impulse rarely yields lasting results. I nodded. Thanks. It's harder than it seems, though. Part of me wants to accelerate things. Patience, he said simply. Power without understanding responsibility becomes a curse. I leaned back in my chair, eyes on the ceiling. The system buzzed, almost impatiently. Your control grows, but control comes at a cost. I sighed. I know, I feel it. Watching people fail, guiding events, it's thrilling but lonely. Mingyu nudged my shoulder softly. Hey, don't forget, you're not alone. Her words hit me harder than I expected. The office, the system, the politics, they didn't matter as much with her reminder. Yeah, I whispered. I won't forget. By the end of the day, Xiao Chen slumped at his desk, defeated, muttering apologies to anyone who'd listen. I stayed calm, sipping my coffee, letting karma do its work. Lin Shear passed my desk briefly, her eyes meeting mine. A flicker of admiration, subtle but unmistakable. I exhaled quietly. Measured exposure achieved. Karma in motion. Human connection intact. The thrill of power hummed in my veins. Tempered by the reminder that influence carried responsibility and that even victories required balance. I smiled faintly to myself. Patience, observation, and a friend like Mingyu. That's the real edge. The office buzzed around me, chaos and ambition intertwining, and I realized quietly that power might feel lonely, but it didn't have to be empty. I didn't expect the call. Lin Sha's assistant summoned me to her office, the tone neutral but heavy with intent. This is it, the system whispered. High-stakes interaction. Choose words carefully. I straightened my tie, muttering, or just act normal. How hard can it be? When I entered, Lin Sha was already seated, her sharp eyes scanning the documents on her desk. She didn't glance up at first. "Sit," she said finally. I perched on the edge of the chair, careful to appear confident. "You wanted to see me?" She lifted her gaze slowly. "I have a project. Complex, high risk. Most employees would follow instructions blindly. I want your independent take." I raised an eyebrow. "Independent take? Or a test of how far you can push someone?" Her lips twitched, almost a smile. "Both. I want to see your judgment chores, not the system's or anyone else's." The system buzzed sharply. "Warning, ethical choice. Intervention suggested." I frowned. "Or no intervention at all." Her eyes narrowed. "Careful with defiance. It can be costly." I leaned forward, lowering my voice. "And careful with blind trust? Costly too." She blinked, caught off guard. "Bold. Explain." I slid a few sheets across the desk. "I've analyzed the project. Following standard protocol is safe, but the market variables suggest an alternative approach." Lin Sha scanned them, then looked at me. "You're suggesting we ignore my initial plan?" "I'm suggesting we consider my plan alongside yours," I said firmly. "If I'm wrong, I'll take responsibility. If we ignore it, we may miss an opportunity." A silence fell. The system whispered, "Risk increases. Respect potential rising." "Interesting," she muttered. "Most would never speak this way." "Most aren't in a position to be wrong and survive it," I replied, meeting her gaze. "I am, or I can be." She leaned back, hands steepled. "You're challenging both me and the system. Bold and unsettling." I smirked faintly. "Unsettling, yes. But profitable if you adapt." Lin Sha's lips curved slightly. I expected fear or flattery. Not this. Respect unlocked. The system buzzed. "Proceed carefully," I swallowed. "I'm not here to flatter or fear anyone. I'm here to solve problems." That's it. She studied me. And for the first time, I felt a subtle warmth beneath her usual frost. I see independence, confidence, and perhaps wisdom beyond appearances. I shrugged lightly. Or maybe I just learned from mistakes and betrayal. Her expression flickered. Experience is valuable. Not everyone earns respect this way. Meanwhile, across the office, I sensed Xiaoqun's panic escalating. The whispers of his colleagues, the subtle glares, he was spiraling. The system nudged. Opportunity for leverage. I ignored it. This moment wasn't about him. It was about my own growth. Lin Sha leaned forward, voice softer now. "I'm curious how far your judgment can go. I'll let you lead this project, but no, I'm watching." "Understood," I said calmly. "But I'm leading based on analysis, not observation." Pause. Then she nodded slowly. "Good. Very good. I respect initiative when paired with accountability." I allowed myself a small smile. "Thank you. That means a lot." The system hummed, quieter now, almost approving. Connection forming. Ethical risks navigated successfully. I rose to leave. Lin Sha's gaze followed me. "Don't disappoint me. Or yourself." "I won't," I said, stepping back. Challenge accepted. As I walked to my desk, Mingyu peeked over, eyes wide. That was intense. "You actually stood up to her." I chuckled softly. "Not standing up. I'm just thinking for myself, and sometimes that's louder than words." By the end of the day, Xiaoqun's panic was palpable. His mistakes grew more desperate, his schemes faltering. Meanwhile, Lin Sha's subtle nods and quiet approvals reminded me that respect, once earned, could be more powerful than fear. I leaned back in my chair, exhaling slowly. This game, it's dangerous. But I think I'm finally learning to play on my own terms, the system whispered one last time. High-level success achieved. Psychological evolution detected. I smirked, thinking about the road ahead. Not bad for a regular office worker. I watched Zhao Chen pace in his office, muttering to himself. His panic was deliciously obvious, yet I reminded myself this wasn't about enjoyment. It was about strategy. Opportunity detected, the system buzzed. Shall we accelerate? I shook my head. No, let him unravel on his own. Controlled chaos is more poetic. Mingyu leaned against my cubicle. You're sure about this? He's spiraling fast. I'm sure, I replied. Sometimes the lesson is better absorbed without interference. The system hummed, slightly impatient. Patience reinforces mastery. Later, in the meeting room, Xiaochen attempted to present. But the earlier mistakes compounded. Figures didn't align, charts contradicted, and he stammered under questioning. I must have miscalculated, he stuttered. Face red dot. Lin Sha's gaze swept the room, then rested on me. No words, just a look. Approval? Maybe? Respect? Definitely, I leaned back, whispering to myself, watch and learn, Xiaochen. Everything you built on arrogance is crumbling. He glanced at me mid-sentence, as if blaming me silently. I stayed neutral, eyes focused on the spreadsheet. Let him unravel naturally, Mingyu whispered beside me. He looks defeated. I never thought you'd let it happen without stepping in, because it's more powerful this way, I said. Lessons stick when the consequences are real. Xiaoqin's voice cracked. I don't understand. Everything was correct before? How? I finally spoke, calm but cutting. Numbers don't lie. Oversight, arrogance. Those are human flaws. Yours included. Gasps rippled across the room. He looked as if I'd struck him physically. Linsha leaned forward slightly. Impressive, she whispered, almost to herself. The system chimed softly. Influence confirmed. Tools available for next phase. I frowned, conflicted. Tools for personal gain? Should one? Ethical dilemmas increase power perception, it suggested. I exhaled. Not yet. I earned respect, not just advantage. Timing matters. Xiaoqin's failure became undeniable. Colleagues whispered openly, some avoiding eye contact, others staring in disbelief. The culmination of his hubris played out beautifully without my interference. Later, Lin Xia approached me privately. You exceeded expectations. Not just in this project, but your judgment, independence. I nodded, feeling a rare swell of pride. Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. Her gaze softened subtly. Your ability to control without seeming controlling. It's rare. Don't lose that, swallowed. Aware of the power I'd gained, then the loneliness it carried. I won't. But it's still a delicate balance. Mingyu appeared at my side later, eyes gentle. You did what was necessary, but you stayed human through it. I glanced at her, a small smile tugging at my lips. That's why you matter, Mingyu. Loyalty, empathy. They anchor you. Even in power, they keep you grounded. Hey. She smiled back. And you're not alone, even when you feel like it. I leaned back in my chair, reflecting. From the powerless office worker who followed rules blindly, I had become someone who commanded respect, and yes, fear. But the system's whispers reminded me, power without restraint corrupts, and mastery wasn't about domination. It was about control, insight, and integrity. Xiaochen slumped in his office, defeated, muttering apologies to anyone who would listen. I felt a pang of something pity, maybe, or perhaps a reminder that hubris carries consequences. I whispered softly to the empty office. Revenge isn't victory. Growth is, the system hummed, almost approvingly. Transformation complete. Psychological evolution achieved. Lin Sha's eyes met mine one last time before she left. Remember, true strength lies in understanding others. And yourself. I exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of the journey, the betrayal, the lessons learned. And the subtle thrill of power exercised wisely. Mingyu nudged my shoulder gently. Ready to call it a day? I smiled at her, warmth spreading in my chest. Yeah, ready? And reminded why some things are worth more than victory. The office buzzed around me, schemes fading, chaos settling, and respect lingering like a quiet aftershock. I had mastered the game and myself, and for the first time, the system felt like a partner, not a controller. As I realized, true power came not from obedience or manipulation, but from knowing when to act and when to hold back. I sat at my desk. The afternoon sun slanting through the blinds, painting golden stripes across the floor. The office hummed around me, voices and keyboard clicks fading into a background rhythm. I exhaled, feeling a strange calm. The chaos of schemes, betrayals, and whispered manipulations had finally settled. Mingyu appeared at my side, her usual soft smile in place. "It's quiet." "Finally. How do you feel?" I leaned back, eyes on the ceiling. Relieved, but reflective. I've won battles, yes, but the cost, it lingers. She nodded, tilting her head. "You've changed. Stronger, smarter, maybe even gentler than before." I chuckled softly. "Gentle. I'd say more. Where? Stronger in ways that aren't obvious?" The system buzzed faintly, almost like a sigh. "Congratulations, user. Mastery acknowledged. Moral evolution detected." I frowned slightly. Moral evolution, huh? Feels more like surviving with a conscience intact. Survival with insight equals true power. It whispered once more, then went silent. Lin Sha appeared at my desk moments later. She didn't hover or intimidate, just leaned lightly against the edge, eyes calm but sharp. "I've watched you navigate everything, from betrayal to strategy. I expected competence, but not this. Depth." I met her gaze evenly. "Depth comes from mistakes as much as from planning. I've learned that firsthand." She smiled faintly. "I suppose. The system didn't teach you everything. You had to figure out some lessons yourself." "Some lessons, yes," I admitted. "The rest came from knowing when to listen, when to act, and when to step back." Lin Sha's eyes softened, a subtle respect shining through. "You're no longer an employee, I simply supervise. You've earned a place as an equal in my eyes." Small thrill ran through me, tempered by humility. "I won't take that lightly. Respect has to be mutual after all," she nodded almost approvingly. "It is, and I trust your judgment now, more than before. You're not just a worker or a strategist. You're someone who thinks, who evaluates, and who chooses." I leaned back in my chair, letting her words sink in. Choice. That's what this entire journey has been about. Choosing who I am, what I tolerate, and how I react. The system tried to push me one way, but I had to decide my own path. Lynch studied me quietly, and you did. Brilliantly, I might add. I'll admit, I underestimated you. I smiled faintly. Underestimation is a double-edged sword. Useful, but dangerous for whoever wields it. She raised an eyebrow. True, and now? Now, I said slowly, I consider ambition with caution, power with responsibility, and relationships with clarity. I've won battles, yes, but the real victory is understanding my limits and values. Mingyu peeked in again, softly, and you didn't lose yourself in the process. I shook my head. No, that's why loyalty, empathy, things you remind me of, matter more than victory alone. The office felt lighter, almost different, as if the hierarchy itself had shifted subtly. Xiao Qin's shadow of jealousy and arrogance had vanished, leaving behind lessons for anyone who dared underestimate consequences. I whispered to the quiet room. Almost to myself, power isn't in fear, control, or revenge. It's in balance. In knowing when to act and when to hold back. Len Shaw smiled, a rare warmth in her expression. You've mastered more than projects, spreadsheets, or schemes. You've mastered yourself, and that impresses me. I met her gaze, feeling a quiet satisfaction. then the system's lessons, combined with real choices, have done their work. She nodded. And you've done yours. Not everyone reaches this point without losing themselves. The system remains silent now, leaving me fully in control. No whispers, no nudges, just the quiet echo of lessons learned and choices made. I glanced at Mingyu. It's funny. I started as someone barely surviving the daily grind, and now you're someone people notice, she finished for me. And not just notice. Respect. Respect, yes, I said, smiling softly. And maybe fear, in the right context. But more importantly, understanding. I understand myself better than ever. Lin Sha lingered a moment longer. Remember this. Intelligence alone doesn't define power. Emotional depth, empathy, judgment, those are what set the truly capable apart. I'll remember, I said, and I'll use it wisely. No shortcuts, no blind obedience, just choice. As the office buzzed on, normal yet subtly changed, I felt a quiet pride and contentment. Revenge had its satisfaction, respect had its reward, and transformation. Its truest value, Ningyu nudged me gently. So, what now? I leaned back, eyes on the sunlight spilling across the floor. Now, I chart my own path. Lessons learned, power understood, and humanity intact. Lin Sha's final words, almost a whisper, lingered. I expect great things from you. Not because of the system, but because of yourself. I smiled faintly, a sense of closure washing over me. Then let's see where that path leads. The system, silent at last, had stepped back. I was no longer guided. I was no longer controlled. I was me, and for the first time, power felt whole, tempered by understanding, choice, and connection.